Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast postgame show. I'm Jay Zawaski, Greg Boysen, Mario Tirabassi with me here in our West Loop studios. We are presented, as always, by PointsBet. Use that promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making a $50 or more first-time deposit at PointsBet. Hawks lose 4-3 in Nashville. Lukas Reichel records his first NHL point. And, fellas, another loss against a desperate team on the road. We saw a lot of very familiar Blackhawks things, some disastrous shifts in the defensive zone, some opportunities to pass up a shot, like, hey, there's a pass to be made, let's try it. And Kevin Lankinen losing his crease a few times, but overall, the effort was there for the better part of the game, pretty even. They just ended up losing. So I can't muster a ton of anger in this one. This is what the games are probably going to look like from here on out. And the fact that they had an opportunity to tie the game late, and they put forth a pretty solid effort with the empty net. It's just a talent thing at this point.
That's something that, the efforts with the empty net, goalie pulled at the end of games, we've seen a few times where it's like the desperation's not there.
Right.
The desperation was there this time, which is if you have to be in that situation, it's something good to see. But yeah, we're at the point where if you're coming into this game this afternoon and thinking the Blackhawks had a chance to beat the Predators, I admire the optimism, but you're also setting yourself up for a tough afternoon. Yeah, the effort was there. There were some bright spots in the game, but yeah, it's just like you said, they're not more talented than the Predators, and it just showed. It's not the lineup that's going to beat a team like Nashville.
Yeah. Best part about this game was it started at 11:30, so it's over.
Yes.
We'll sit here. We got the sun out behind us. It looks like a beautiful day out there, so we can.
It's deceiving. It's like 40 degrees.
That's all right, though.
I'll take sun all day.
Sunshine is good. Yeah.
All the stinking rain we've had the last couple of weeks. Give me 40 in the sun. Mm-hmm. But so we get to talk about the Hawks in the afternoon and enjoy the rest of our Saturday. So that's good. But as you guys said, the effort was there. We saw the effort against the Sharks Thursday night. It carried over into today. But you can be the team that tries the hardest, but in the end, a lot of the times, the team that's got the most talent is going to win. Still a lot of the same issues. Just for a little while there, especially in that second period, it looked like Jeremy Colleton was back behind the bench. The way the defense was just
defensive
everywhere.
Chaos.
nobody knew where to go. Yeah. Nobody was picking up a guy coming in. This is nothing new for this team. There was some urgency in that third period. That was good to see. It seemed that hey, we're down 4-2. Maybe we should start shooting the puck. And they did. And they scored. And they put some pressure at the end. And they had a couple of good looks there in those last couple minutes. Just couldn't get it done. Mario, you pointed out earlier that UC Saros has got just ridiculous numbers in the regular season versus the Hawks. I
think in 13 careers, he's like 8. I think he's 8-2-2 now in 13 career starts.
I mean, he's carrying on the
That's
tradition that Pecorine started for years.
What was this? They said it on the broadcast. Predators have beaten the Blackhawks 20 of the last 23 meetings.
Yeah, it's
that feels right.
That feels right, and it feels right, and it also just still doesn't settle well with you.
No, the Predators have the Hawks numbers traditionally, except for those 2 playoff series. They've pretty much got the number.
Yeah,
the Predators. They're one of those teams that they're not going to blow you out of the water with superstar talent, but they just play. They come at you in waves. They don't stop.
Right.
They've got lots of guys that are hard to play against. I know that the Hawks re-signed Reese Johnson because he's hard to play against, quote unquote. That's a coachy thing they love to throw out there. But the Predators, man, they forecheck the hell out of you. They got defensemen that love to join the rush. You don't know where it's coming from. So the Hawks gave their best effort, but as we've said so many times this year, Blackhawks' best ever is usually not good enough to win hockey games. So
a couple sub stories in this game. First of all, if you missed the news, Dylan Strome's dog Wrigley, who is an Instagram star, only 2 years old, passed away yesterday after some complications after a procedure. So Dylan playing the game with a heavy heart. It's brutal. Losing a dog is the worst thing ever. Lukas Reichel picks up his first assist, and then Patrick Kane scores a goal and then heads over to the
1-1
glass,
goal in the first period. Yeah.
and he's giving it to a Predators fan. So he just met the media. This is from Ben Pope at the Sun-Times.
Yeah,
Kane says, quote, "I just saw it was a Nashville fan, so I caught him on it. No real reason." Pope says he hadn't said anything to you. Kane says, quote, "Nah, we'll just keep it at that." So I'm going to guess the guy did say something to Patrick Kane.
There is something more to that, and I want to know.
You know what, though? I'm a big fan of red-ass Patrick Kane. The last few games, Patrick Kane's been playing with a little bit of an edge. He is pissed. He is not happy with the way things are going, and that's the way. Jonathan Toews had questions last game about how to lead during a rebuild. Patrick Kane is showing you how to do it, saying, screw this. I'm tired of this. I'm done with it. I'm going to will this team to victory. And he's playing with an edge. You see him mixing it up after plays, getting some cross-checks in there, some slashes in there. Patrick Kane is not effing around right now, and I like it. I want to see more of that from Patrick Kane.
I bet you that guy is a season ticket holder and has been giving him crap for years.
Yeah,
right.
And he finally had enough and just said, I want to know what he said to him.
He's got a face and a profile that you remember.
Exactly. And but yeah, no, good for Kane, as you mentioned. Who would have thought a couple of years ago that we'd be here and say Patrick Kane is the more mature between him and Jonathan Toews? What a bizarre world are we living in right now, but it's true. Kane is showing more leadership than Toews has, at least with the comments and doing it on the ice. So
he's backing up with his play he's showing the will to want to still be here, be engaged, be a leader for the team. At least showing it on the ice, which is kind of more important where the team needs to see it right now. It's 2-point night for him.
And I want to give a little credit to Strome there for playing. I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's just a dog," but man, I'm a dog owner, and it's not just a dog. A 2-year-old dog dying all of a sudden, that's rough. He had his name on his stick. That shows you right there, what it is. So. And that's brutal.
I believe Ben Pope did a story, I think it was last season, about Dylan and the dog Wrigley and how, during Dylan's kind of struggles in his past few seasons with Chicago after, kind of bursting onto the scene when he first got here, how that relationship has actually helped Dylan kind of deal with some of that. And it's kind of just talks to how, a relationship between a human and a dog can actually have that kind of effect. So it's really hard to see that, and awesome to see Dylan play and played pretty well. Got an assist on that Kane goal that he mean mugged the fan on. So good for him. And hopefully
Kane would have been able to talk crap if it wasn't for Dylan Strome's pass. So
exactly.
We'll give him the credit for that one.
So hopefully Dylan and family can have some better days ahead.
Ugh, brutal. Nothing worse, I'm telling you. Back to the Kane and Toews thing. I know this is a little bit unfair to do to Jonathan Toews because there's a lot of circumstances that are leading to his subpar play this year. But Patrick Kane, 25-53 of ice time, 2 more points, ho-hum.
26 minutes.
5 shots on goal, another shot attempt, and a blocked shot. Jonathan Toews, I'd love to see where this stacks for his ice time. 14:53 of ice time for Jonathan Toews. 1 shot on goal, and he was a -1. Jonathan Toews is a third-line center. That's what he is right now, and it's really hard as a Hawks fan to kind of swallow that pill. And look, we were all really thrilled when he was able to come back and play this year, and he's stayed in the lineup, which is great, but he just has not been the same guy. And has he been better lately? Yeah, I would say so, but today's game feels like a step back. And I don't know. I think he, more than anything, is the big story of the offseason. And we've got a long time to get into this, but it just starts to feel like boy, does he want to be here anymore? And I don't know. I don't know. Look, like I said, there's a lot around Jonathan Toews physically and mentally that are impacting the way he plays, but I don't know. It just feels different around him right now.
It feels as this season has gone on, and now as this rebuild period has gone on, that more and more it feels like, Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane tied together for their entire careers, and this offseason is going to be no different. It really feels the difference is in Kane, the ability and the attitude is what you would want to have on a rebuild team, and with Toews, it seems like the better business decision would be to not have his $10.5 million cap hit, or to not have his extension, whatever it would be, hanging around.
Yeah, no,
which is weird to say.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
We all know that Toews isn't going to be the player he was, and that's fine. That it happens the way he's played. But you can deal with that if the attitude wasn't there. And I mean, we're seeing a lot on the ice where he's just kind of drifting through the defensive zone, kind of just skating in a circle, hoping somebody gets in his way.
There was a point when they had the empty net where Toews was in the Pred zone and the Hawks were at the blue line trying to enter, and he was just kind of half-assedly skating back towards the bench, just cut through all the action. That's just stuff you don't see from him. And maybe it's exhaustion. Maybe it's whatever. He had a maintenance day yesterday at practice. Maybe it's just time to shut him down for the year. I don't know. Look, he's not – I don't know if he's actively hurting the team, but I don't know. It's just been such a weird couple months with him. A weird season, to be honest.
It's been a very weird season.
We've seen things from Toews that I think we never expected to see. It's one thing if he comes back from the year off and the concussions and the chronic
fatigue, chronic immune response syndrome.
Yes, all those sort of things. If the effort's there but the results aren't, but it's just, I don't know, he just feels like a totally different player right now. And I don't know, it's very, as a Hawks fan who loves Jonathan Toews and everything he's brought to this team, and he's on the Mount Rushmore of the team, it's just hard to see him play this way. It's not what you would expect. And it doesn't feel like Jonathan Toews is playing to Jonathan Toews' standards.
I think that's where a lot of his frustration is stemming from. And then on top of it, it's dealing with the going into a rebuild and dealing with, the team losing. It's a lot of things that are new to him in his professional career. And it's difficult to change change your mentality and change your expectations as an elite level athlete, to kind of hit a wall and basically be like, I can't do what I used to do. The team's not going to get the same results as they used to. And the immediate future doesn't involve Stanley Cups as it has in basically almost the entirety of his career. So it's a lot of frustration kind of piling on one another for Toews. And I can understand just all of that building up and not being able to kind of push through it, because he's never really had to push through that much in his career.
Yeah.
But it is still tough to it's tough to see because it's unexpected. But it's also kind of tough to deal with, because then he's behind the microphone and he's making statements that make us as fans and also members of the media kind of question, like, what is his interest level in being around here, and what is his impact on the roster, kind of having all of these things go on with him in his career and how he's expressing it.
Yeah, he's a guy that's famously and been rightfully so praised for his career by leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what kind of example he's setting right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we see him at practice and he's engaged,
mm-hmm.
and he's being a good teammate, and he's but then you see some of these plays. I mean, as I said the other night, the Kings game, I had the first goal against on the radio. I was still driving in here, and Troy Murray went out of his way to call out Jonathan Toews' lack of effort in the defensive zone. When has that ever happened?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's, and again, there could be a lot of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
we never know what's inside a player's head or how he's feeling. And a guy like Jonathan Toews is not going to, admit to anything. So, but from just watching from the outside, it's not a good look right now.
No.
So maybe it's just, needs an off season to refresh and figure out what he wants to do and then take it from there. And we also,
I think too, sorry to interrupt you, Greg. I think the whole team needs a break from this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've talked about it the
Right,
last
yeah.
couple shows, and it's just this whole year has been a grind on all these guys. Some that were here during the Kyle Beach thing, some that had to sort of stick around and deal with the the shrapnel from that whole
yeah.
thing. And it's just from Bowman resigning to the coaching change to the off ice controversy
And
to the losing. It's
Yeah.
just enough.
And we
Yeah,
get to the end of the season, and we'll talk about it a little bit, but we get to the end of the season, and that news cycle is not over now because of the NHLPA report that
Right.
came out. So
right. Yeah.
it's
It's been a forgettable season, and it's definitely one that everybody involved needs to move on and reset. And as we've seen in our chat, I know we meant to, but we joined into other conversations. We did want to give out a shout out to Colin Delia and his family. He didn't make the trip to Nashville, left the team. He had a death in the family. Derek King said yesterday it was an uncle, but so we want to send our condolences out to the entire Delia family. Cale Morris got the recall from the Rockford Ice Hogs and got to watch the game from the tunnel. I don't guess they didn't even look like they had enough.
is there not enough
Enough room on the Nashville bench there, because every time they showed him, he was kind of hanging out in the tunnel there. So
Interesting.
not the best seat in the world, but you know what? Free team meal, free plane ride. Not the
There you
worst.
go.
And
You could have
NHL
worse days at work.
An NHL game check doesn't hurt either.
Definitely doesn't.
Yeah, that'll work.
So So just we'll give
Yeah.
from everybody up here. We'll just give our condolences to the Delia family, and
For sure.
it sounded like he'll be back on Monday with the team. So
Comment from Riley99 in the chat. He says, Taves always play with so much pride. It makes me feel like there's something wrong. And I think that's
Yeah.
where we're all at. And we want to know what's wrong. Is it physical? Is he unhappy? Does he not want to be here? And I think for Kyle Davidson, that is question one to answer. He's got to get to the bottom of it. Say, hey, man, like sit down with me. And that's what Jonathan wants, right? So he can be told how to lead.
Says more.
It's just let me know what's going on with you, honestly, so I can know. Like, was it just exhaustion from missing time and playing a full season? Are you in? Are you out? This question, it's the question number one that needs to be answered this offseason.
I feel like that's a conversation that has to have already been had.
I would
and
think
we're,
so.
And we're probably just not getting the full
Yeah,
story.
true.
Which I fully get. I mean, you're not going to get a professional athlete that's going to give you the behind the scenes or going to give you a 100% honest answer about what they're dealing with, what they're thinking. But, it is the question that needs to be answered in the offseason for sure is what does Taves want his future to be with the Blackhawks? Involved or not? Because he controls that decision with his no movement clause as, for at least through next season. So if he doesn't want to be here or feels like he just needs a refresh for himself physically and mentally and wants to do it elsewhere, then he needs to say that. Yep. And I'm 100% believe the Blackhawks will do right by him and be like, hey, if you want to go, if you're going to waive the no movement clause to go wherever, we'll make a deal with however you need to do it to get you to where you want to go.
he holds all the cards.
Mm-hmm.
He holds all the cards. They can't trade him anywhere until he agrees.
Mm-hmm.
So he can not only say, yeah, I want to be traded, but he could pick the team he wants to go to. So it's up to him.
I'm just very fearful we're going to get in one of those situations where the Hawks are going to have to give up something to get rid of him.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it then. I don't want another Teuvo Teravainen incident. You suck it up and deal with it for a season, and then it's over.
Yep.
Yeah,
Or try and move him at the deadline where maybe there'll be a little more value for him.
And you can you retain
Right.
the
And
salary.
cap hit
You
is
might, maybe
it's
team
something
involved.
you bring him back and you hope he has somewhat of a good season, and you can move him at the deadline where it's more feasible. Because right now no one's lining up to take that contract.
Tom says in the chat, love the Hawks, but can't wait for the season to end. Typically I'd be with you, Tom, but we need games. We like games. We like post games. They're a lot of fun for us here on CHGO.
Post games are easy content, as I like to say in the
We'll
industry.
definitely ride out the rest of the schedule.
Because August is going to suck.
Yeah. Tell you what, Tom, we'll end the season, but you have to promise to be in the chat with us every game this entire summer.
Tom, you want to spend 3 weeks in studio with us? Come on down, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring pizza.
Well, hey, we appreciate all your support in the chat and with the podcast and everybody that's been listening and interacting with us anywhere. But the best way to support CHGO is to download that PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you do. If you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. And you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making a $50 or more first-time deposit at PointsBet. It's your home for live in-play betting, and it just got even better. Introducing PointsBet's new feature, Live NBA Same Game Parlay. For the first time ever, you can build the perfect live NBA Same Game Parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game, and if you want more, you can always boost your live same-game parlays, watch live, parlay live, and boost live with PointsBet. And now, online sign-up is available in Illinois, so you can go to the PointsBet app, download it, sign up from start to finish from your couch. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Remember, the Bulls playoffs start tomorrow. Our CHGO Bulls crew will be all over it, so don't miss their post games, their pre games. I know they've got a watch party coming up on, what is it, Friday? At Third Rail.
Yep.
So make sure you join those guys at Third Rail on Madison, right around the corner from our CHGO studios. So Matt and Big Dave and will be all over the Bulls playoffs. So parlay your bets on PointsBet and watch along with those fellas, and they'll get you through the Bulls playoffs. Bulls-Bucks tip off tomorrow.
I might have to check out that watch party. That might be fun.
Yeah, that's it might be. It's going to be a great time.
If Matt and Dave and Will are there, it's guaranteed fun.
Exactly.
It'll be a good, Watch out, though. You could get hit with a random flying
Watch out for hats.
They
need like the, at Wrigley, beware of foul balls sign.
Watch out
beware
for
of Matt's hats.
Yeah, that'll be good.
That could be fun. If we didn't have back-to-back, 3 a.m. post-game shows, I might chalk that down.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Might still be sleeping on Friday night.
Yeah, because don't forget, this week, more CHGO After Dark sleepover parties.
West Coast hockey.
Yes.
Always
9 p.m. start on Wednesday, 9:30 start on Thursday. Thank you, NHL schedule, for that.
Stay up with us, please.
We will have post games for both of those. So for you third shifters and insomniacs, we got you.
We've spent a lot of time.
If the game doesn't put you to sleep, we'll do our best.
We'll
put you to sleep.
We'll put you to sleep.
We'll just do like an ASMR show. The Blackhawks have fallen.
Oh, God.
You guys will love that. That'll be good. One thing I want to mention, we talked a lot about Kevin Lankinen recently, and you could see the Predators really went to school on him today. Mm-hmm. They were just throwing, anytime they had any sort of a look at all, they were putting a puck on Lankinen, and four more goals in this one. I don't know if I was quite as down on his performance in this one as some of the more recent ones, but still he just does not look like the same guy. I don't know if it's his confidence shaken. I know he's dealing with a little bit of a hand discomfort situation, which could be impacting his play, but he just has not looked comfortable in the net for quite a while. I don't know if you can really blame him for any of the ones in this one, but 4 goals is a lot, and it's becoming the norm.
I believe it was the first goal of the game was glove side on him, and we talked about the hand injury and how he's catching pucks and using the glove to make stops hasn't looked the same since then.
I can't remember the last time he's made a strong glove save and then absorbed the puck.
That wasn't like a puck flipped at the net that he just caught.
There's a lot of he's like slapping at
it. It looks like he doesn't see the puck until it gets him. Like he's not tracking the puck at all. Where it's like it's not him in making the save. It's like, holy crap, there's the puck. I better swat at it.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of.
It's catching him off guard, and that's not a good thing.
It's a lot of loose and flopping around. Like it doesn't seem like a confident, locked in, in a groove goaltending.
Well, fellas, I played a little bit of goalie
Oh.
in the 1994 Orland Park Street Hockey League.
Oh,
So
wow.
I can speak from experience.
Goalie expert Jay
That
Zawaski.
when things start to go poorly when you're a goalie, they start to go real poorly.
Yeah.
You can't stop a damn thing when your confidence is shaken and you're just out of the game. And I know there's a slight upgrade from Orland Park Street Hockey to the NHL. A little bit.
A little bit,
Just
yeah.
a tad.
Comes at you a little faster.
A little bit. A little different. But you get the sun in your eyes sometimes, just saying. But it's one of those things like where it starts to unravel, it gets really, really bad. And when you don't believe in yourself, this is any sport, right? Baseball, whatever. If you're struggling at the plate, those things can just compound. And I think baseball is a good example. You look at Chuck Knobloch and John Lester, who suddenly can't make a routine throw to first base. The confidence part of sports is something that I think in the era of analytics and stuff has started to be dismissed a little bit. The mental game is very important. And I think we're seeing a lot of Hawks suffering from the mental struggles of a long season, let alone the physical and the talent parts.
You can kind of compare an NHL goalie to an NFL kicker. Once the wheels get off the track, it's hard to get it back on. You know, the confidence. You miss a couple of kicks in a row, it's in your head. You give up a couple of soft goals in a row. But I think, man, as we're seeing these last couple of weeks, there's no room for error on this Hawks team. It seems that every mistake is in the back of their net because they don't have that goalie that could just make the big save, or they have the goalie that makes the big save, but he kicks it right back to the middle of the ice, and then it's behind him. It just gives you a new appreciation for what we saw this season from Marc-Andre Fleury, and it gives you a real appreciation of what we saw for so many years with Corey Crawford. I mean, yeah, you could say those cup teams, but I mean,
They were
last
more
couple-
talented teams, but he's still
but look,
shined.
I mean, even his last couple seasons here wasn't great in front of him.
Right.
But when but even those cup teams made mistakes and they gave up great scoring chances. But you had Crawford there, you had Fleury there to make that big save. Hawks don't have that. Kevin Lincoln is not making that big save these days. Colin Delia doesn't make those big saves, not at the consistent level that we're used to. And you know, it just shows you how valuable that goalie that can come up and because now everybody in front of the goalie is thinking too much because I can't give up a shot because he's not going to save it. And a hockey team that thinks too much is not a good hockey team.
Yeah, and it makes the rest of the team in front of Kevin Lankinen lose confidence in their game because if they make a mistake, then they know they're not going to get bailed out, and then it gets hung on them. So it just makes everyone else, it just down the line just kind of like makes everyone else play tight and, like you said, overthinking it, yet tentative, and it just kind of snowballs into, you know, poor play, defensive breakdowns, and we saw that on a number of goals this afternoon where, you know, a defensive breakdown happens and no one's there to bail out Seth Jones or Jake McCabe or Alex Vlasser, whoever it was. It's just where the talent level is at right now. You don't have anyone that's there that can like really save this team from themselves. Everyone's just kind of down the line. One mistake turns into another, and they have to find a way to battle back in all these games, which they do put in the effort most of the time, but it's just these holes that they have to dig themselves out of, and it's been all season.
You mentioned appreciating what we had in Crawford and other things in the past. And AJ from DNVR, our sister station in Denver, was tweeting about the Avalanche this morning. 53 wins, a franchise record. These are the golden days you reminisce about when things get bad again someday. Appreciate the moment. It's okay to enjoy today and leave the worry about tomorrow for tomorrow. And I responded and said, as a Hawks fan, I feel this. Don't take the great times for granted because they'll be gone before you know it. And ain't that the truth?
Yeah,
those cups feel like 100 years ago.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
It took the Avalanche a long time to get back to where they are. I mean, they early 2000s they were the team. They were the dominant team, and it took them a long time.
Yeah,
but you know,
look, I think anytime you are that good, it is hard. You're going to have a long fall off until you're back to. And Colorado's had some good teams. Right. You know, they've had some playoff teams and some decent stars and things like that, but. You look at the Red Wings, too. it's taken the Red Wings forever to get back to prominence, and they're still not there, obviously.
Right.
You're seeing it, the arrows pointed up on them. They've got one of the best GMs in hockey who obviously has a love for the franchise, rebuilding things, and you see they've got some really great young players on that team, but it takes time, and Colorado is the evidence of dominant in the 90s and then just have not been able to get back to where they are right now until now. So hopefully it doesn't take the Hawks that long to get back to competitiveness and contenders. We'll see. It's really tough for a team that's this good for this long, that was always picking so low in the draft. And then when you did get some good picks, you had to move them out, Teravainen, because you had, bad contracts you had to move out. So it's tough. So yeah, it's, for Avalanche fans, if you're watching, appreciate it while you got it, because it is fleeting. Well, this goes away quick.
Now that we're back on the rebuilding side, and we're hopefully going to be stockpiling a lot of really good talent over the next few years, definitely this offseason we need to have a show discussing why the NHL salary cap sucks and it needs to go away.
That could be a week-long series.
Yes. So that's something that we'll have for you in August when we're out of actual hockey news.
And Tom's going to be here feeding us content.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
There
Thanks, Tom.
Speaking of content, if you love the content you get at CHGO.
Every show, this guy with the segues. My God. Beautiful.
Love it.
You guys set me up. I knock them down. If you're loving the content we're creating here at CHGO, become a member over at CHGO, and you're going to get a free shirt. Great, dope merch. You can get that Blackhawks shirt, that logo right there if you're watching on the YouTube channel.
Looks
you
great.
can get that on a shirt. If you want to get one of our, CHGO random shirts, we've got the great logo with the Chicago flag, the script. There's Bears, there's Bulls. The Sky shirt is phenomenal. The logo is great, and it's baby blue. Everything looks better in baby blue. Not only that, you're going to get great access to all of our written content for all of our teams, not just the Blackhawks. Baseball season's in full swing. We got great teams covering both sides of town. We got the Bulls playoff push, the Sky. It's all coming. Bears round the clock. Bears. So, it's all there, and you get access to our members-only Discord channel where you can jump in and talk to all of us. We're going to definitely try and be more active over there as well, especially as the season wraps up. We'll have some exclusive question-answer sessions there in the off-season, so you guys can give us some ideas while we're struggling for 5 hours a week. But seriously, become a CHGO member. Sign up. It's the easiest thing you can do. You're not going to regret it. You got all the perks.
Yeah.
And
also got the CHGO newsletter coming out on Monday.
That's free, by the way.
That's free. You don't have to become a member of the site. You can sign up for our free newsletter, and you can even customize it to. If you're not a baseball fan, you don't have to get the Cubs socks. You can get just the Hawks news.
See, there's a bunch of people in the chat saying, "What about a members-only jacket?" I think we need to get CHGO
I'm all
members
over
only
that.
jackets.
We're working on it. We'll work on the jackets.
If you know somebody at members only, let us know.
It's like just one sad guy behind a desk, like Gil on The Simpsons. Geez, just waiting for my call.
I would love a CHGO members. I would wear the hell out of a CHGO members only jacket.
All right, let's get to our fourth stars of the game. We got to get to Lukas Reichel and the fact that the Hawks have burned his first year. That's kind of the big non-on-ice story of the day. I'm going to go with Dylan Strome. As a guy who has lost several dogs over the last decade, I know how hard it can be to perform under those circumstances. I would assume Dylan probably wasn't home for that either, which makes it even harder. So my fourth star goes to Dylan Strome for playing well in a game with certainly a heavy heart after losing his buddy Wrigley. So it's tough. I've been there many times. So Dylan, we're all thinking about you, man, and he gets my 4-star of the game.
I'm going to go with young defenseman Riley Stillman. I can argue that was the best game he had all season. He had the goal there in the third period, a redirect off of a Patrick Kane pass.
Net front presence.
He
Riley
headed to the
Stillman.
net with his stick on the ice and got rewarded. I mean, it was a simple play, a great pass by Kane. But he had 3 total shots, 3 hits, 5 blocked shots in just over 16 minutes of play. That's a very productive
He was
day.
active, yeah.
That's a kid that's saying, hey, I want more ice time, and
Acknowledge me.
Yeah, I mean, for
Riley Raines, number 61. But no, great game for him. So he's my 4th star.
For a guy who has an extension for the next few seasons, he's kind of playing for a job.
Yeah.
So,
And if he plays like this, and like he played in this game, I can live with that.
He'll keep it.
That's
Yeah,
a solid 5 or 6 that I'm definitely happy with and satisfied with.
Yeah,
for sure.
Best game of the year from him.
No doubt.
Let's see how he builds off of it come Monday.
I went with the aforementioned Lukas Reichel. First NHL point, a secondary assist on the Dominik Kubalik goal. This was his 10th NHL game, as Jay mentioned, burning the first year of his entry-level contract. He's had a number of chances in the 10 games that he's played to get not only his first point, but his first goal. A few games back, he had 2 great chances that just weren't able to end up in the back of the net. But yeah, finally gets on the score sheet now. So congratulations to young Lukas. Is he the 4th star winner, or how are we gonna do this? Because
let's give it to Lucas.
First
give it to
NHL
him.
point.
It's a good way to segue into discussing about his future.
Well, since he's become an official contract year player, he's a point per game player.
He's a
Way to
point
go.
per game
living up
since
to the hype.
since his contract was
Since
burned.
since the first year kicked in, he is a point per game player.
They had a cool breakdown.
That's a superstar, my friend.
Cool breakdown to that goal by Eddie O, showing that it was who got the pass to Reichel? I think it was McCabe.
It was McCabe.
With
yeah.
a
Reichel to
70-foot
McCabe,
pass to
yeah.
Reichel. Then Reichel spins along the boards, gives it back 73 feet. Back to McCabe. Then McCabe with a 38-foot pass to Dominik Kubalik for the tap in. I like when they get into some of those
next level stats.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. I like that sort of stuff. So that's cool to see. All right, so
And good for Kubalik to score one.
it feels like he needs those gaping nets to score in.
Sometimes,
but
yeah.
hey, man, whatever it takes.
Line drive in the paper.
Yeah, no doubt. So that was great to see Reichel get that assist finally. You know, he's probably feeling the pressure to get some points on the board here. And like you said, he's had his chances recently, so nice to see him get rewarded. And sometimes the secondary assist seems kind of silly or superfluous, but that made the play. I mean, that peel off and pass back to McCabe was right on the tape, and it set up Kubalik perfectly.
Yeah.
So
those are
real solid.
the kind of plays that you get excited from these young players to see the confidence to pull off a move like that, the vision to find McCabe trailing into the play, and to set up a great scoring chance. And that's something that I think Lukas Reichel can really develop and build upon in his NHL career. And it's a lot of what we've been seeing with him at the AHL level, where he's had confidence to make plays like that and be able to take over some games for the Ice Hogs. And he's had a tremendous season in the AHL, and now he's finally got his first NHL point. And the discussion around should he have played beyond 9 games and to use this first year of his contract this year, making him a restricted free agent in the summer of 2024 rather than 2025. We've talked about it a little bit, but I think there really isn't a wrong answer in the way that the Blackhawks are handling it. So, if now that obviously he has played his 10th game, the first year is being used up, I'm fine with it. I'm on board with it. I understand. We were talking about it during the game. This is a move that we're not necessarily used to seeing, where Kyle Davidson as GM is thinking about the future and not immediately this season, whereas past regimes it was kind of like, okay, we'll focus 1 year at a time because we're trying to contend 1 year at a time.
It is refreshing and different that there's a Blackhawks general manager that is thinking 3-4 years down the road. That was never something Stan Bowman ever did. It was always about what can we do right now. It was never about the future.
It was always seemed like, let's just do this now and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll
And that's
worry
why
about
they
the
got-
future when we get there. And
Right,
that's
like
why
the
we're
Brent Seabrook contract. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? We'll figure it out. Yeah, you got to take Tyler Johnson back at $5 million bucks now.
Yeah.
It's just Madeline points out in the chat. Thinking in general is new. Good point.
It is.
Good point from Madeline.
Yeah.
So it is refreshing, and as you said, it's like, maybe it does make more sense to get him on that bridge deal a year sooner. Gives him a less of another. If he has a good year next year, you can give him that extension next year,
Right.
As
After
opposed
next
to now
season, yeah.
waiting, and then maybe he has 2 really solid years, and all of a sudden that price goes up. So get him while the price is down. And then you lock him up for a couple of years to where when that contract expires, he's still an RFA. And then you go into his big deal if he's earned it. But it gives you some more time and more patience to see what you got with him. And then hopefully lock him up to a nice team-friendly deal for a couple of seasons beyond, and see where you go. Because hopefully by the time he's due for that big deal, if he earns it, the salary cap isn't an issue like it's been in the past.
Right.
He's going to be the second guy behind the Brinkett to open up the vault for, and you could set it up and work around it. So,
Well, and Jones too.
yeah, well, that's already there.
Right.
That vault can't be closed.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm still looking something up.
That just killed my buzz.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to do that, but it's. I was surprised when I saw it happen, and then when I saw Charlie Romeliotis was the first guy to sort of write about and explain it. It does make sense, and you got to also think about. I think that not that it's apples and oranges a little bit, but Chris Bryant, when the Cubs, messed with his first year, held that against them forever. He was so unhappy about that it lingered throughout his entire career in Chicago. Sometimes doing a solid for a player can pay off down the road. And if Kyle and Lucas's agent are in, some sort of negotiations a few years from now, Kyle can say, hey, look, man, like we very easily could have sent him down and put him in Rockford after 9 games and said, we'll start the contract next year, but we didn't. So why don't you cut us a little slack here on the second or third contract? Take $1 million off, take $500,000 off, or whatever as some sort of nod. I'm not saying that will happen, but it certainly doesn't hurt the case, right? The Hawks have something to say, like, hey, look, we looked out for you back in 2022. Maybe you can sort of return the favor here as we're looking to improve and grow this team, and we need every dollar we can to do so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that we're at the point where Kyle Davidson gets the benefit of doubt until he loses that privilege.
Well, so far, so good.
Yeah, I don't have much to complain about. There are some things I wish, you couldn't get anything for Calvin DeHaan at the deadline, but, that's done, moved on. Overall, so far, I've got very little to complain about with the start of the Kyle Davidson era. We're going to see how his first draft goes. We're going to get a really good idea of what he wants, the kind of player he wants to build his team around. As early as July.
We've already got an early look at it.
Well, yeah, he definitely likes size.
Yeah.
He definitely likes guys that are hard to play against. There's that term again.
Yeah.
That's going to be a shirt.
Hard to play against. Yeah, he brought in Sam Lafferty, extended Reese Johnson.
Radish
brought
Kachuk,
in, Radish Kachuk.
He
exactly,
wants
yep.
guys, and it's not a bad strategy for the next couple of seasons. Like, hey, we may not be the most talented team, but you're going to wake up the next morning and know you played the Chicago Blackhawks.
That's right. You played the Bears because your leg is broken, despite winning 35-3.
You might have kicked their ass, but you got a few new bruises, my friends. Don't you forget it. Yeah. We didn't win the game, but we won the fight in the parking lot.
Well, we're starting to, by the way, I shared an article from a blog in Tampa that Brandon Hagel is under some pressure. Only 3 goals in his since March 21st.
Man, he's not shooting 22%.
Lightning fans are turning on Brandon Hagel.
I looked at the rest of that site. I don't know.
I said a blog,
I don't know.
which might be generous.
That guy's sources were the beer vendor in section
But
220.
But at least one guy with an internet connection in Tampa is done with Brandon Hagel.
Somebody with a dial-up connection wrote an article.
The fan club of the Boris Kachuk Lightning fan club president is pissed at Brandon
Author
Hagel.
B. Kachuk.
Well, and to the point about finding the right players, I think, if I don't know exactly the role that Davidson played in draft decisions, but this previous draft, there was only one player that the Blackhawks brought in that was under 6 foot, 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So it was evident that the part of the goal of the draft was to get size into the prospect system, whereas in the last few years, it was a lot of smaller puck, smaller speed puck movers.
Stan Bowman only liked to draft guys his size.
He didn't want to be the shortest guy in the room.
6 feet tall, got no space for you.
Yeah.
Well,
so it's
5'10", you're my guy.
So
After meeting Kyle Davidson, Stan Bowman was not the smallest guy in the room.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Kyle Davison, not the most physically imposing person, but I think it's something that the Blackhawks have missed, and it's something that when you look at some of the blueprints of teams that get to the playoffs and make deep runs, there it's not size just for size sake.
Right.
It's the size for
Plus
a
skill.
purpose plus skill.
Right.
You look at Boston, Tampa Bay, St. Louis, like these teams that have had deep runs, especially on the blue line. Those are some big bodies to deal with. So I think it's, for a team that's looking down the line, if you can build up your prospect system with players that have the right mixture of size and skill, it's the best way to do it.
Yep, no doubt. And look, you just look around the NHL, and the teams that are winning, they're not doing it with tiny little guys.
No.
And sure, you can have a couple of those guys.
Few.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. We're not the people to say Alex DeBrincat shouldn't be in
No,
the
of
NHL
course.
just because he's 5'7", 150 pounds.
You just can't have 12 of them.
Right, exactly. Someone's got to be able to, go into the corners. Someone's got to be able to be, not only be a net front presence offensively, but also push someone out of the net, which is something that the Blackhawks haven't had defensively in a while. So, yeah, I think if that's part of Davidson's vision for building the roster, it's something I can get on board with.
Two fats and a skinny.
That's right. It's key to victory.
It's proven.
Just look at this podcast, man.
Proven formula for success. Two fats and a skinny.
And I think that's the best way to build a winner, and the best way to build a winner for yourself to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app. If you do that and you use the promo code CHGO when you sign up, not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets for up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which we've talked about numerous times. It unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and they'll be happy to help out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is now available in Illinois. You can actually download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
You mentioned the physicality thing, and I think especially over the last handful of games, we've seen a different kind of attitude from the Hawks. They're playing with a little bit of a snarl. Mm-hmm. You're seeing some post-whistle stuff. You're seeing some gloves getting dropped. You're seeing,
seen some post-game scrums.
Definitely.
Like today.
This one, the San Jose game, those games got rough early, and maybe that's sort of the shifting tide here of, hey, like we're not, we might not be able to outscore you. We might not be able to keep the puck out of the back of our net, but damn it, like we're going to fight hard, and that's what they did in this game especially. So I'm sort of looking forward to that. It's something that even when the Hawks were really good, they never beat you up. They didn't have to. They had the puck the entire game, which was part of it.
Right.
It's like, why aren't they getting more hits? Well, they've got a 75%
when you got
right now.
When you got the
puck on your stick.
when you got the puck in your own zone, 54 minutes, who you hitting?
Yeah,
right.
But I do think that it is an indicator of what Kyle Davidson values. And I think it's not just, I don't think you're going to see like a goon movement here by any means, but they've got to have guys that are willing to go out and pay the price. And we saw several instances. There's one point in the game, Mario, where you're like, why isn't anyone coming to help the Hawks in this fight? And 3 Hawks were under the pile. Like, oh, well, there they are. They're all laying underneath Predators.
It was a clown car trick. Yeah.
But it was just, it's you're starting to see that turn. And I wonder if it's got to be just based on the moves he's made so far.
Well,
that's what he's looking at.
That should make Monday's night's matchup with the Calgary Flames more intriguing because we just talked about roster construction. Look at the Flames. Mm-hmm. Sure, they got Johnny Gaudreau, your undersized, highly skilled superstar, but man, they've got some big guys on that team. Your Blake Coleman's, your Milan Lucic. They got some guys that
Chuck.
Yeah, they've got the guys that are hard to play against to go with the skill set, and they're in first place in their division. Mm-hmm. So
you get Nikita Zadorov, and look what happens.
That's
I'm
key
sorry.
to success.
God, you were just getting the stabs in the heart.
It's his birthday today. We got to be nice to him.
It?
We have to be nice to
I
anybody.
liked him.
Happy birthday.
I liked him more than anybody else. He's a big galoot. Just pushing people around.
Hopefully, he finally affects the Blackhawks at the United Center in a positive note on Monday.
By
getting
throwing
19 feet out, by getting 19 feet out of position to allow a goal. But it'll be interesting to see if the Hawks bring that physicality against the Flames, who are a team that loves to bring the physicality. Mm-hmm. Their coach, Daryl Sutter, Blackhawks legend, according to Eddie Olczyk, Daryl Sutter. I don't know about that.
Throwing legend around a little loosely these days, but it's okay.
But
it's okay.
He's a guy that expects his team to work hard and be hard to play against. This is the theme of the show today. But, so it'd be great to see if we see guys like Tkachuk and guys like Johnson and Stillman and these guys mix it up a little bit more against a team that thrives off of that. And let's see how they go. Like, if Kyle Davidson wants the build, his vision of the Blackhawks are kind of like what the Flames are doing. I'm okay
down
with
for that for
They're
sure.
okay with that.
They're playing a number of teams recently that you can say, hey, this is a good way to build a team. With Nashville, they said on the broadcast they've done really well drafting defensemen and goaltenders and developing them. Yeah. That's a pretty good way to build a team.
If you prevent the other team from scoring, you're gonna win more.
You're gonna have a good chance at it. Yeah. So I mean, it's different ways to do it, and I think on Monday night we'll get another example of a good way to build a team that can have success both in the regular season and into the postseason. I think Calgary is going to be a very difficult out in the Western Conference playoffs. So it'll be fun to see how they stack up against them.
And you guys can tune in right here, and we'll have live post game. Jay and I will be here. It will be Mario's turn to be the boy in the bubble on Monday night. So. We'll have the post game. Hopefully, we can talk about another good effort. Maybe not necessarily a win, but a good effort against a good team and some physical play. That's all I'm looking for.
That'd be great. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm looking at Keith Tkachuk's Wikipedia page to see if he has any more children to draft. And
well, maybe this is the year we finally trade for Keith Tkachuk. I've been hearing about it since 1994.
I want two fats and a skinny.
I used to work with a guy every year. That was his rumor. The Hawks are getting Tkachuk this year.
That'd be nice.
A Monte for Tkachuk. You heard it here first.
Yeah, bring me Tkachuk-like people.
Kachuckians?
Kachuckians, yeah. All right, one more stab in your heart, Greg, before we wrap up. Ryan Hartman scored his 30th goal of the season
that doesn't
today.
stab me in the heart because I never liked Ryan Hartman.
All right, fair enough.
There you go.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to wrap it up here on the CHGO.
Let him waste somebody else's money.
Yeah. We're going to wrap it up here on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Post-game show. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks for joining us in the chat on your Saturday afternoon. We've got a bunch of holidays going on. I don't want to exclude anybody, so happy holidays. Is that
multiple holidays this weekend, yeah.
Whatever holiday you are celebrating, we hope it's an enjoyable one.
Yeah, enjoy your holiday. We greatly appreciate it. And remember, we're presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. He's Greg Boysen. Right there. He's Mario Tirabassi over there. I'm Jay Zawaski. We'll talk to you Monday on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show.